went to exit the hot tub, Brent looked out his side and that tire was straight. So I didn't even look at mine. And he's like, "You're good, go." And my tire was still turned in. And Marvin with Flex Rocks Rollovers and Mike and Dan with Rev Kit were up watching, and we couldn't hear them, but they're up there yelling, "No, no, no, stop." No. And, being rear engine, and I don't have water in the front tires, which I'm about to do that. But, when it goes over, it just happens real fast.
Yep.
All right, welcome back to the Dirt Drive, guys. As always, I'm Trevor. Over to my left, I have Tom.
Yo.
And with us today, we have the Hockmans, Leah and Brent from She Crawls. If you guys want to introduce yourselves.
Hey, guys. Leah Hockman here with She Crawls. I got my husband, Brent, with me here.
Hey, guys. Yep.
So, yeah, we're just going to be hanging out today and going through some of their recent adventures and seeing what's going on and what's coming up next.
Yeah. So, social media says you guys have been busy working on your moon buggy and your second moon buggy, Brent, right?
Yeah. Front engine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not full moon buggy,
No.
just regular buggy.
Right. Yeah.
What are you?
Rock Lizard, OG Rock Lizard chassis. So it's all 1.5" tubing.
Okay.
The 2.0, they went up to 2-inch tubing. And it costs a little more, but I got a killer deal on it from Thomas at Fab 801, and just we've been busy as all get out, and finally able to get back on it and make some progress. So it's cool.
Yeah. What engine are you gonna run in it?
I got a Ecotech out of a 2016 Cadillac ATS. So it's a 2-liter turbocharged from the factory, 295 horsepower. And got that bolted up to a Hughes Performance Turbo 350, full manual valve body, and Atlas 5-to-1 transfer case.
Nice. So you guys are all about the 4-banger gear reduction Toyota life, huh? Even though it's all GM parts.
Yeah. I mean, the V8 stuff is cool and it sounds awesome, but as your weight goes up more and more, kind of, in my mind, works against gravity. So lighter is better. My engine's like aluminum block, aluminum heads.
So what's that weigh? Like 500 pounds?
Yeah, it's not much.
Yeah, that must be nice. I think my cylinder heads on my V8 are 500 pounds.
Yeah, it's a big 4-cylinder though. Once I got it into the chassis, it like filled up the engine compartment, if you will, pretty quickly. So I'm like trying to shove in, intercooler piping and exhaust and it's tricky.
Yeah, it's all tight.
Yeah.
It's all part of it.
Yeah. It's half the fun though.
It's built to be a mall crawler. Come on.
Yeah.
It's that 4-cylinder grocery getter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys can put a back seat in it, take the kids with you?
Oh, no. Yeah. 2-seater's the way to go.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I had a buggy, and I changed it from a 2-seater to a 4-seater, and it was just like never the same.
Yeah. The weight balance gets all thrown off.
Yeah, and then you throw like extra people in there when you're partying and drinking, and you got like an extra, 400 or 500 pounds in the back.
Yeah.
So. That's light for our group. You throw 2 extra people in a Jeep with us, and it's
it's like 600 pounds.
Yeah. Thick Boys Off-Road. Mm-hmm. It's our spin-off.
You got a roll factor there.
Yeah.
So what you guys were out at Easter Jeep Safari?
Yeah, we
How was that?
That was really cool. We didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into. We decided kind of last minute to go, and we're invited to stay out at area BFE, which is outside of town. It's still Moab, but it's more buggy territory. It's a private
land. Yeah.
Nice. It's a private park. And we didn't really realize what we had gotten into till we got there, and guys like Jesse Haynes and Jason Blanton and Dave Wong were showing up, and we were like,
okay.
Like this is the place to be, obviously.
This is where we want to be with the buggy.
Did you not bring enough spare parts?
Oh, we had like no issues.
Yeah.
That's like the only thing we had was like the winch switches went bad. I think they're just too low of amp rating. So
Okay.
I was in there like touching wires together and making
Yeah,
things work.
the buggy wheeled hard for like 5 or 6 days. It did amazing out there. I mean, I did shear 2 knuckle studs on my first day out there wheeling when I rolled in Mickey's hot tub. But the traction out there is something you have to get used to, especially running stickies on that kind of traction. I think what happened was we got down in the tub and we had turned the rear steer out trying to just get right on the line. And then I put it in reverse, and I think that's when the stud sheared. So then when we went to exit the hot tub, Brent looked out his side, and that tire was straight, so I didn't even look at mine. And he's like, "You're good, go." And my tire was still turned in. And Marvin with Flex Rocks Rollovers and Mike and Dan with Rev Kit were up watching, and we couldn't hear them, but they're up there yelling, no, stop.
Oh.
And, being rear engine, and I don't have water in the front tires, which I'm about to do that. But, when it goes over, it just happens real fast because all that weight's in the back.
Yeah, the tires never spun. One time. It just drove right
I felt
underneath
bad
itself.
for the coolers.
Oh, the cooler
They held
was-
up. Yeah, the action packer got some dents in it, and we popped it right out. And the cooler, all I did was lose one strap on it, and I did a little shout out for Camp Zero coolers. They're, half the price of a Yeti and just as good. And let them know what happened and sent them the video, and they're sending me new latches for the cooler.
Nice.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, but that was cool. That was an adventure.
Is that the first rollover?
No, I've rolled one other time. That was like the first hard hit rollover, and it was good. We were strapped in with the PRP 5-point harnesses, and I shut it off immediately. Brent had his arms crossed, and I kept my hands on the wheel, and we were all safe, and that's what matters. It took some winching to get it pulled back over.
Leah had her seatbelt off so fast. Once she shut it off, get me out of here.
Yeah,
when you watch the video,
I was ready to just stay in there and be like, somebody just flip us back over.
It really does happen in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
It's you see you guys coming up, and it's okay, they're just making the turn, and you're like, wait, that doesn't look up. Boom. And you're just like, okay, definitely not right. Okay.
Yeah, Lydia Manders, Rob Manders' wife with Wheelin' Out West on Instagram. They're great people. They had take us out to Hell's Revenge that day, which is an iconic trail out in Moab, and were showing us around. And she's a boss, man. She ran the recovery. She knows the terrain out there. And they were winching the buggy, and she was like, stop. The tires are bound. There's too much traction. We're going to break something else. And
because the steering was still turned in the back.
I just looked at her. I was like, I love you.
It's pulling us the wrong direction. So I forget what I did, but
we put it in neutral, let the winch line loose, and then we were able to get the rear steer straight, I think, by doing that. But once we got it pulled out of the hot tub, Brent pulled the plugs, and oil went everywhere, got in his mouth. That was just spraying everywhere. It burned off, but then it was fine. And then we kind of limped it back to the trailer. We didn't have exactly what we needed to get it fixed at the trailer, so we could go right back out. Yeah. So we went out to Rev Kit's Airbnb. They let us use their garage to get it fixed, and nice. Brent had it fixed in no time. We just had to pull out the bent sheared studs and put new studs in, and fortunately we had spare stock Toyota knuckle studs, and and then some other people brought me some more spare studs out to Area BFE.
Thank God we didn't need them, but yeah, we had them.
I mean, for rolling over, for that being the only thing you really had to fix, that's
did crush in the throttle. I don't know what you call it. Basically, the thing goes to the wire and opens up the throttle body.
Oh, the little motor.
Yeah, just bent that thing right over. So I had to pry that back out, mangled up the cable a little bit. But
that's at the end of the world.
So that was my debut to Moab, was rolling in the iconic Mickey's hot tub.
Hey. Diving in first.
And then 2 days later, on Wednesday, during wheeling under the lights at Area BFE, I rolled it again.
Oh, jeez. It's an expensive trip all of a sudden.
Yeah, nothing got damaged on that rollover.
That's
it was
on
just,
video too.
Yeah, I was going up a just a little slab and
slab. It was like
the
people said it was harder than backdoor.
Yeah, the
Okay.
videos don't really ever give anything like that justice. But yeah, I just looked over and I said, "Am I good? Is this the line?" And Brent said, "Yeah, send it." And I sent it right over. Once again,
Boink.
it happened so fast, and we had cut the gate out of my shifter after my first roll so I could slam reverse quicker. And by the time I had it in reverse and hit the gas, I was already on my lid. So in the video, you just hear like I hit and then and
Too late.
I was just like, it was just slow motion. But then Brent and a couple other guys ran down real quick and just flopped it right back over, and I was right back out.
Nice.
So
You go.
we didn't have to pull the plugs that time.
It was kind of like a pirouette and then just landed on its side. So
yeah.
three of us just pushed it right back over.
Getting like a
Didn't even have to pull the plugs.
rollovers
Nice.
like that, like when you're in a buggy, you know, they're designed to handle that. Getting that kind of like under your belt really bumps
Yeah.
up your confidence
Oh, yeah.
because
It's got to be a weird sensation like the first time because like
Yeah.
it's like when you take someone down a really steep slope the first time and they're like, "Holy crap." Like I can imagine that's what a rollover must
Yeah.
be like.
Yeah.
When it first happens to you, you're like, "Oh shit."
Okay. Oh, is this it? Is
Yeah.
this,
I
is
think-
this going
how
to be
I
where
died?
it goes?
I think my biggest like concern about rolling over was what my reaction was going to be. Like, am I going to do what I'm supposed to keep myself safe?
Yeah.
And I did both times. So now I'm just like, okay, I can handle that.
Yeah.
So now I'm not, as timid to try harder things.
I think I'd be more scared as a passenger in a rollover because, like, when you're the driver and you've got the steering wheel in your hands, like, naturally you kind of clench up and you
Yeah.
want to grab
Yeah.
it. I feel like as the passenger, your natural instinct is to want to grab for
Hit the
something
brakes.
instead
Yeah.
of just like
For
kind of
sure.
curl up.
Yeah,
So
we
it's-
have a T-bar in the
I added in a little T-bar
Yeah.
so you can grab a hold of it and just
Yeah.
push yourself back into the seat. And,
There you
yeah.
Smart.
yeah.
So it was
a lot of people want to put their hand on the roll bar,
Yeah.
but if it goes through a full roll, you'll
yeah.
lose your fingers.
Yeah,
Well,
you
and
can't
like,
do that.
We've seen people just even out on the trails when they're like one of our buddies took a picture where he stuck his hand out the window and like touched the rock next to him, and
He was
we're like-
stopped, but yeah.
he was stopped, but
Yeah.
we're just like, hey, when you're moving, don't ever do
Yeah.
that because you'll lose an arm.
I always tell, you see a lot of people wheeling, especially the Jeep guys, and they've got their arm out their window. And, you might not be in any danger at that given moment, but what that does is it creates a bad habit.
Yep.
And
Or a stick flies up and hits you in the arm.
yeah, anything
I
can
usually wheel with my
happen.
windows up for that reason. 'cause
Yeah.
I'm like, I am that person. Like if I'm going down the highway, my arm's out the window. Like
Tell me you're a JK owner. You have windows.
Hey, I got a Jake.
Comanche has windows. Don't talk shit. Like, it's-
Right. Like I said, full body rig.
Oh,
You
shut
got windows.
Up. Shut up.
No, I found myself like going from a full body rig to the YJ with the half doors. I find myself leaning out a lot more than I probably should. Because like the last time we were at the Cove, I did one of those like I can't see my wheel. And then I got hit in the face with a bunch of mud and was like, that was a bad idea. Don't do
Yeah.
that again.
I added, I got these little UTV roll bar side view mirrors, and I put them on the buggy, and they just fit perfect.
Yeah.
And I can tilt them any which way, and I just keep them pointed back at my rear tires now, so I can know if I've got my rear sear straightened all the way back out. But gosh, they've been like a game changer. I sure wish I had those for hell and back. Like not having that visibility at hell and back sucks.
Especially when you're strapped in.
Yeah, when you have your
Yeah.
harness in, like you really can't look
Yeah.
out and see anything.
Yeah,
so those mirrors
is
are
not as bad. but-
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it gives you some movement.
Yeah.
No, not with the harnesses.
You know.
I had to have
Which is
that,
a good thing.
I had to have a conversation with a potential customer who wanted to add like a third row seat to their JL, and they were like, "Oh yeah," and they bought these harnesses and all this other stuff, and I was like, you don't want any of that in a daily driver." They're like, but it's extra safe, and I was like, only if you use it properly, which is pulled tight. I got to build you a harness bar. I can't put it to the floor. Like I don't want to compress the spine and roll. Go through all this stuff, and they're like, "Oh." I'm like, yeah, this isn't like we just bolt a seat and some
But it
seat
looks
belts
cool.
in. Yeah, yeah. And he's like, I'm like, this is a bad idea. Like, you really don't want to do this. And he's like, well, I just need to put my kids back there. And I was like, even more of a reason you don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I appreciated his logic. I've seen so many other people do this.
Well, some guy did it on YouTube and it looked really easy. Like, then you go home and do it yourself.
Yeah.
Because I'm not taking the liability.
No.
Like, unless
That's
we're going to do
what
it
I was gonna
correct.
say. Yeah. A lot of shops these days, they got to look at things as a liability standpoint.
Yep.
Something happens and it's my fault.
Exactly.
Especially with modification. Like, it's if you're just swapping out parts, you can...
Yeah.
Someone else has done all that design for you, but when you're fabbing stuff up custom, like that's a whole other ballgame.
Framework,
and a lot of
like
people
that.
just don't understand that. They just look like, oh, you could just make it. And it's like, yeah, no.
You're right, I can.
Yeah, but
you're not going to want to pay what it costs for me to make it.
Especially when somebody else has already developed the product, put in the work.
Right.
Yeah, people really underestimate the time and work and skill that goes into custom fabrication.
Yep.
I mean, all I did was cut some panels out of my buggy the other day, and I was like, holy shit, this is a lot of work.
You need a plasma cutter.
Well, like even for small stuff too, like brackets and stuff, people just don't understand.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, that's hours leading up to the final fabrication.
yeah.
of that
I made my
bracket.
orbital valve mount, and it took me, 4 hours.
Yeah.
And it was 4 pieces.
Yeah. It's the reason why a race car costs $100,000 to start.
Yeah.
And you haven't even gotten into all the parts yet.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm doing everything the hard way, though.
Yeah, by hand.
Hole saw, cut off
Yeah.
wheel.
Got to get a drill
builds
press.
character. So they tell me.
The drill press was easily the number one thing I bought for myself that makes making brackets and things so much easier. It's just I don't know why a drill press just feels like it drills better, but it works
Because
so
it's
nice.
stronger than your human hand.
No, but it's also like it's a torque and RPM thing. Like with a hand drill, you're drill a pilot hole, make it bigger, lube it up, let the bit cool. You got to go through it 6-7 times. On a drill press, you center punch it, you can just hog a 1/2-inch hole out with some oil, and you're good to go.
Imagine that, a machine designed to do the job does it better.
But that's my point, right? Like that's
Why don't we have it at the shop?
because it's still in my garage
Yeah.
where I'm building my own Jeep.
Yeah, I actually moved mine out of the garage to my buddy's garage and my bandsaw because
Yeah.
I'm just like, I had so much stuff and
yeah.
tools. I was like, oh gosh, I barely use this thing, and I
get
didn't
that.
want to sell it, but I was like, well, just hold on to this for me
Yeah.
for a while.
On the first day you move it, then you go, where'd my drill press?
Yeah.
go? Damn it.
Yeah, you need it 15 times the day it leaves the garage.
I have a problem with losing my mini sledge, so
Mine's magnetic lights.
okay.
Yes.
that's-
oh my God.
In the last 3 months, I think I've lost 3 or 4 of them. They're probably out stuck to somebody's car driving around Northern Virginia.
I feel like
Get those
I
little
let
tile
people use it.
trackers, put them on your tools.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I might have to do that.
Hey, we one of them I'm surprised managed to survive all the way out to the eastern shore, and then the guy got home and called us and was like,
Yeah.
hey, I
That
think
was
you left
Jason's
your,
light, but
your
yeah.
light on the Jeep," and we're like, "What?"
It's like I got home and there was a glow under my Jeep. Stayed attached to the body of this XJ,
For like a
driving from
2-hour
Sterling
drive.
all the way to like Easton, Maryland.
Wow.
And it was still on. That was the part that was
Yeah.
even more amazing.
Battery
Didn't
last.
die.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's cool.
We've gone to the Cove and like customers have handed.
Oh, yeah.
This Jason was way worse than I was.
That is true.
I've only lost 3. They've just happened to be in a short period of time. But
We're gonna have to start a shop budget for him.
yeah, I like the tile idea. I might have to take that.
For you, yes.
Or an air
He's a
tag.
bitch.
Just do an air tag. So I'm like, when the customer gets home with my light, they're like, "Why? Who air
Why is-
tagged my Jeep?"
Yeah, why is my car
Oh
dinging?
my gosh. I got an alert at the Cove in the buggy that I had an air tag following me. And I mean, for 2 hours, I was looking over the buggy and it showed on my phone, it started tracking me from my house. And I just, all these scenarios went through my head. I was like, someone's trying to steal the buggy or someone's trying to break in our house. They wanted to see when we wouldn't be home. And finally 2 hours go by and I walk with my phone over to my neighbor's camp and I'm like, do you happen to have an air tag on your rig? Because he had rode the trails with me that day. And he's like, oh yeah, I've got one on the rig and the trailer. And I'm like, do you drive past Stephen City on your way here? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Wild.
This whole time.
Wild.
Like my phone picked it up from the time he drove by my house on Route 81. And then we wheeled together all day. Oh my gosh. I felt so silly.
That's wild though. That it was like that consistent enough that you were like close enough that it stayed in the system.
Yeah.
To follow you all day.
Oh man, that might drive me a little nuts.
just constantly hearing ding ding ding.
Yeah,
ding,
just
ding,
well, just
throughout
even
the
my
shop.
phone just going off, like just being like AirTag. It's just like, what is going on?
Every time I leave a light somewhere.
Like, it's bad enough when we have customers' car keys that have AirTags on
yeah.
them, and you go to like move the car and it jingles just enough, and it starts going on. You're like,
I don't get like say I put an AirTag on the buggy, like for, you know, like if somebody stole it or something. I mean, if they have an iPhone, it's going to alert them there's an AirTag. So it's kind of, you know, pointless.
yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it would work well for vehicle theft, but finding lights and keys and things, I think it's beneficial.
We have the tiles. They're nice.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Much more affordable too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Pay the Apple tax. So you said it was your first trip out to Moab.
First trip out west to wheel ever.
Period? Okay.
Yeah, we got there. We left our house Thursday. We took like 10-hour shifts driving. Slept in the trailer at a truck stop. Then we got out to area BFE around 5:30 Saturday. And then we just kind of, you know, got settled in, drove the buggy around a little bit, made sure everything was good. Then we went and met up with our friend Marvin from Flex Rocks Rollovers in town and hung out for a little bit. And then the guys from Rev Kit came down, and then William with Carnage Motorsports. So that was cool to get to hang out with all those people in one place. And, you know, we just kind of hung out and had some drinks. And then Sunday we went back, where we got back to area BFE Saturday night. Sunday morning we loaded up the buggy into the trailer and then drove into Moab out to Hell's Revenge and met up with Rob Manders from Wheelin' Out West, Marvin, Mike and Dan with Rev Kit, and then I think his wife came too, and then we wheeled. We did the iconic
Hell's Gate
entrance where it's like a fin you have to drive on, and that was sketchy. Like, thank God for the black tire marks.
Yeah, you know exactly where to drive.
Yeah. You just have to follow that because like you really can't see anything. You just trust those marks.
Yeah. Had you guys not just wheeling, but have you ever been out that way before? Or was that your first time?
I've been out west to Vegas and Colorado. Brent's been out west to ski.
Yeah.
But we've never wheeled out west. And
I used to live just across the Colorado border from Moab. And like ever since I've been out there, like that is easily my favorite place in the country.
Yeah.
Like everywhere I've been, like it's the people, the scenery, like everything about it is just mind blowing. It's like another planet.
Yeah. A lot of the locals seemed kind of like annoyed with all the off-road people there, but I'm like, I mean, come on. This is a huge bump in your economy.
I do think so. Like, I mean, I was out there in like 2012, 2013, and it was significantly quieter than it is now. Like when we went to SEMA and drove back through Moab, I couldn't believe how busy Moab was on just like a random weekend in November.
Yeah.
And like even where I used to live in Colorado in the town Gateway, like the trails that I would run when I lived out there were empty. They're basically dirt roads. Like they have stop signs and street signs and everything, but like nobody was out there. And I went back in April with Carrie, my wife, and we were driving some of those trails in our rental Jeep, and like there were ATVs everywhere and people camping in like towing trailers up ATV trail, like just 40-foot bumper pole campers up an ATV trail. And I'm like, nope, like this place was non-existent to the rest of the world 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And now there's 40 people out on a random April weekend.
Off-roading has seemed to really kind of blown up.
Yeah.
Yeah, later Sunday, after we got the buggy fixed after the rollover, then we met back up with some more people and we ran Moab Rim Trail, which that's, another iconic trail.
Yeah.
That was cool to do. We did that for a night run. That was really cool. Then we stayed at area BFE Monday, Tuesday. Then Wednesday we went back out. And I did the Jesse Combs Foundation Trailblazer run. It was the first annual run. And some really cool chicks were on that run. I was definitely honored to be a part of that. But we had a friend who needed our help, and it was freezing cold in the buggy that day. And so we had to leave out of the run a little early. Well, we came out the wrong side of the trail, 8.5 miles from the truck and trailer in the buggy. And then we only had like 2 gallons of gas left. So we couldn't like go back in there. And we certainly weren't going to drive the buggy down 191 to get back. So Brent hitchhiked back to the truck and trailer, and I just sat
like the
there.
Smartest thing to do.
Yeah, I just
And you
sat
live
there.
to tell the tale?
Well, a local lady stopped and picked him up, and she was like, "Yeah, I saw her there in her buggy, and you, and I figured you guys needed some help, and
I
we do
normally don't stop
off-roading."
for people, but I saw you guys in your side by side. I didn't correct her.
Is that an insult?
Whatever.
I would have corrected that, but yeah, she gave him
lives
a.
out there, and they
It's
have
all
like a
side-by-sides.
4-seater side by
Yeah.
side. She said they go out every weekend.
Well, the side-by-sides are street legal out there, which is crazy, but...
But yeah, she was really nice. Then I got all the way back to the trailer. I was in such like a kind of a panic. Didn't even grab the truck key, so she had to take us back up the road.
Yeah, I
get
saw
the
him
key.
coming back. I was like, ugh, no.
Yeah,
The truck's gone.
but no,
It
it was all good.
It was sketchy sitting there on the side of that highway in the buggy, like by myself. I didn't like it, and I was surprised at how many people came out of the trail and didn't stop and ask me, like, "Are you good?"
Oh, yeah, that's weird. I would not expect people on the highway to stop, but like coming off the trail,
Yeah,
you would think,
yeah,
like, everything good?
There
Well, one
is
of the first
probably like 15
persons-
people rolled out, and only like 2 stopped and asked if I was okay.
Just waving like, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
weird.
Yeah, I when I first went out there to the highway to put my thumb out, like here comes a cop, in an SUV. I'm like, all right, perfect. He's going to stop, and nope, just kept on
Flew
going.
right
I'm like,
by.
okay. And
Yeah.
a whole bunch of Jeeps went by. They're just like waving, like no,
Love your rig.
yeah.
Yep.
It all worked out.
Yeah. Just makes a
There's
good
like
story.
this unspoken tension or something between people in like full body rigs versus buggy people. Like,
Well, it's Easter Jeep Safari, not Easter Buggy
yeah,
Safari.
like,
Yeah, you don't
like,
see a
oh,
lot
you're
of
in a buggy,
Toyotas.
you're on your own. I bet you're cold. Like,
There's
no, it was.
There's an Instagram page that I follow. That they're relatively small. The Blue Ridge Sammy. It's a samurai, somewhat local. They took their lifted samurai down to Daytona Jeep Beach this
boy.
past weekend, and like he's just been posting. The samurai posted all these like mall crawler JLs and JKs, and he's like, I thought Jeep people were inclusive." I was like, I'm gonna be friends with you. I like you.
Yeah, I don't know about that whole Jeep Beach scene.
Yeah.
It's a little much for me with it's definitely like a mall crawler
Oh,
Jeep
yeah.
kind of
Oh,
scene, and
100%.
the speaker setup, sound systems and
Yeah.
stuff, and all the ducking.
It's like Bike Week or something. I
Yeah,
guess.
I mean, I get it.
Comparison.
I've always said I'm a car guy, so like I get the
meetup.
draw of what
Yeah.
a Jeep is to car people, and like why those shows exist.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I'm a car guy and I like off-roading. Jeeps are just good at off-roading, which is why I have Jeeps. I'm not a
Yeah.
Jeep person, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I'll wheel anything you give me.
I used to install car stereos and sell and install car stereos, and so like I appreciate all that, but
Right.
I'm just like, but in a Jeep, like I don't know, it's just not what Jeeps
Well-
are built for. I mean,
The argument I've always made with that is like, it's okay if you want to be the 24-inch rim, massive stereo, color match, fancy paint. Like if that's what you want to do with your Jeep, so be it. But don't also try and be off-roady just because you have a Jeep.
Yeah.
Like you can have a parking lot Jeep. That's okay.
Like
just
Snowball.
own it.
Just own it. Just,
Like if that's what you're gonna
just
do with your
enjoy
Jeep,
what
own
you're
it.
doing.
Yeah, I had a 2019 JLU, and Brent started talking about modifying it and stuff, and I was like, no,
Right.
this is a mall crawler.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we are not.
And that's fine. We tell people that all the time at the shop because they'll kind of like, well, I don't know if I should say this to you guys, but I'm not going to offer it. And like, okay, like that's fine. Like,
Cool.
what do you
So-
want to do with it? Well, I still want to lift it and put big tires. Okay, that's
I
fine.
want to appear as though I off
And
road.
that's fine. And it's like we try not to give people crap about it because it's just like it's your vehicle, it's your money. You
Yeah.
do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
We're not
Actually,
going to care.
If anything, off-roading is going to benefit you because it's way cheaper than not off-roading.
Yeah,
exactly.
It most definitely is.
Yeah. That's
You will never break anything.
yeah. I don't try and turn people off from off-roading, but like we get the beginners that will always say like, oh yeah, I kind of want to get into it. And I'm like, take it out stock.
Yeah.
Like, go drive it. Make sure you like this, because the difference between fitting 35s so you can drive around and building an off-road rig that no longer fits in your office building's parking garage is about $5,000 to $10,000. So make your decision now before.
I always tell people who are getting into it, like, you know, wheel your vehicle stock, like learn the limits, and then decide what you want to upgrade next. Like, don't just like fully invest in it and then not know what the heck you're doing.
Yeah. Because then you ruin your daily driver. Like, now all of a sudden it's not comfortable, it's not quiet. You can't fit in parking garages when you go to DC. Like, there's so many layers to it, and it's like, if you really want it to work and survive off road, you got to spend the money. You got to do this to really do it right. And it's always a constant give and take of like, oh, I want 40s. Oh, why? Oh, I don't know. That's what the internet said. No, okay, like you don't want 40s.
My favorite is learning people, like, whatever their perception of off-roading is.
That too.
Because when we get out to events, you find the people who their idea of off-roading is just driving down dirt roads.
Like fire roads, like Peter's Mill.
Yep. Yeah, because you get to the rock gardens, and they'll get out of their vehicle and go, are we driving through that? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Can we make that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, your Rubicon on 37s is
probably
going
to scratch your rims at some point, but yeah, we'll be fine. Oh, I think I'm going to go do that other trail over there. Okay, have a nice day. Like,
that was,
you're clearly not built for this.
We had somebody that like tagged into a group at an old Big Dogs event. This was probably 3 or 4 years ago. Massive XJ, like 35s, 8 inches of lift, bumpers, winch, locked, like big mud trains and beadlocks, and we call it Lisa's Trail. I don't know what the official name of the trail is.
But the official name now. It never had a name.
Sure. We were going across the top of the mountain, and it's a steep drop down.
Oh, I remember
And
this.
we were at a bypass. We stopped at a bypass because the guy in the stock XJ's kid had to go to the bathroom. And we're like, oh, take this down. It drops into Camp 6. There should be a bathroom right at the bottom of the hill kind of thing. He's like, all right, cool. And the lady's like, does this go to a really steep hill? And I was like, yeah, we'll make a left, come down the hill, go through a little mud puddle kind of thing. She's like, I'm going to tag out here because that's like a red. And I was like,
I mean, it's really not. It's a green.
She's like, we went up that yesterday. I'm not going down that. And I was like, what?
Going down, it's easier.
like, I'm like, okay, bye. See you later. Like, you're at Camp 6. You can hit the main road and go back to line and find another group. See you later.
You're going to lift an XJ. If there's any vehicle out here that you should be okay with destroying, it's that one.
Yeah. And it's like, this is not a red trail. Like, I don't know what you're talking about just because it's a steep hill.
Yeah.
Like, but anyway, I digress.
Take her out to Moab.
So the burning question that we ask everybody, East or West Coast wheeling?
East Coast.
Yeah, there it is.
I mean, I know we're all biased.
So we're
we
2v1 right now.
I don't know. We got to get Abe's opinion because he seemed like he was going to have a strong opinion.
I mean, I may change my mind on that after we hit Sand Hollow, but I mean, the traction out west just makes things so easy.
Yeah.
Where
That's what we've
out
always heard.
east, it's all the factors just make things a lot more technical, and I just think you have to be more skilled to wheel out east.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody can.
Heard it here first.
Yeah, anybody can go out
Mic
west
drop.
with that traction.
My biggest thing, too, like,
Suck it, West Coast.
not only the traction, but like I feel like the rocks. It's not that they're necessarily smaller, but they're
rounded and
they're
smooth and
right?
they're
Like they're like it's like there's not as many undercuts, there's not as many holes, like everything, like it's one giant rock that you're driving over versus
when we were out
a ton
there,
of little rocks.
Like there's stuff, on day 1, day 2 in area BFE, like we were doing, it's like, God, like that was nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
it
you
looks
pull up,
way harder than what it is.
You would pull up to it and be like, okay, all right, now we're getting into something, and then you're just like, pop, like
just
right
drive
up
right
it,
up.
and
Yeah,
I'm
it
like,
takes
okay,
2 seconds, and
like
then
the traction is just unbelievable.
One of the things out there is like you find yourself getting into these gnarly climbs and crevices and cracks and ravines where there's no turning back, there's no turning around.
Yep.
If you fall in that crack, you're gonna have to like unbolt your axles and literally extract the vehicle.
Yeah.
And,
The traction out there can screw you though, so that is a technical aspect to wheeling out west.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just get your tires bound up and brake parts.
Yeah, I think that just falls under just adjusting to the conditions, right?
Yeah.
Like when it's dry here versus wet here, you do drive a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's just always dry out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like being
That's
in
the
the
biggest
mountains
difference.
personally.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You know, in the trees, and you got more coverage. And,
Yep.
yeah, we were
A
at the
little bit of a
Cove.
breeze.
Yeah, at Big Dogs, and first day out, like, you know, I was leading a group, and I think I signed up for line 8 or
Yeah.
something. And the second day, everybody got back in line with me. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
They can hang.
Yeah.
You know, there's like 2 rigs that didn't have a front locker, but they were like, you know, just OG.
As long as you drive it,
Yeah,
yeah.
they were good.
It felt really good to be back at the Cove, though, after going out
Oh,
to
yeah.
Moab.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, oh, we're home.
Home
Like,
turf.
oh man. And I was just like all amped up and ready to try new lines on the trails that, you know, I remember the first time I ran Insanity Trail out at the Cove, and I was just so intimidated and nervous. And then you know, at Big Dogs last weekend, I ran I guided the 10 line and was the first one in and had no spot and just didn't barely even hit my diffs going through Insanity.
Right.
And I was just like, hell yeah. Like that was awesome.
Now you're just like, I need bigger. I
Yeah.
need more.
No, I mean, my rig's good, but more challenging trails.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Yeah.
We're hitting up Adventure Off-Road Park, AOP
Nice.
in Tennessee this
Yep.
weekend. And I hear it's pretty gnarly out there. And with all the rain we're getting this week,
Yeah.
it's going to be,
Oh, yeah.
it's going to be challenging.
Yeah.
But my red labels are finally broken in and they're super duper grippy now. They're
Yeah.
just grabbing and hooking up like it's just amazing. So I'll be excited. I mean, a lot of people talk crap about they suck in the rain and this and that, and I mean it rained at the Cove all day Saturday and they did great.
I think.
I feel like the rain is just a driver thing.
Well, I was gonna say, there's always gonna be people who complain about one thing or,
Oh, yeah.
you know, this is better. It's
Excuses.
yeah.
Oh, 100%.
It's excuses. It's all what you're used to. Also, like
Yeah.
you know, if you go from super swampers to red labels,
If
like,
you hit it with your purse,
yeah, just got to get one of those cement filled purses.
There you go.
But yeah, it's I don't know. That's now that like we're all finally graduating from our shitty home built, no locker, small tire rigs and having real rigs. Like I love the Cove. Every time we're there, I'm like, but it's also like I want to go back out west. Tennessee and is definitely big on our list. Like Good Evening Ranch.
yeah. You can
Oh,
only
Good Evening
do-
Ranch is like
Yeah.
a must do. If you haven't been out there, you got to go. It's just an amazing place.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a smaller park, but I like that because you can just hop from one trail to the other. I don't like a lot of blasting in between trails.
Yeah.
Right after Moab, the week after Moab, we went up to Tennessee with Marvin and Flex Rocks Rollovers crew, and we wheeled a place called the Sand Mines.
Okay.
And it was really cool. It's just one long trail. And you get to a
Is
certain
it like
part.
point to point, or is it like is it all
You
connected?
drive in and drive back out. I think that's what we did, like due to certain circumstances. But once you actually hit a certain point on the trail, it was a sand mine, obviously, and it's the name. But you get into white silica sand, and it's like in the rocks. So there was like some out west traction there
that's
in
cool.
this little town in Tennessee. So it was cool. We were out there. He was filming for a German TV production.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
How'd you guys get tied in with Marvin and Flex Rocks and Rollovers?
Last year, the year before, I saw that he was at the Mammoth Trail. He was up at AOAA doing the Ultimate Off-Road Adventure or the Ultimate Off-Road Field Trip.
Yep.
And I saw they were running the Mammoth Trail that Sunday, and I had just ran it the weekend before and was really eager to get back out there and try it again because we ran out of time with our recovery vehicle. So I just messaged him on Instagram, and I was like, hey, can I come run
Yeah.
Mammoth Trail with you? And he was like, sure.
Cool.
And I was like, okay.
right.
And I don't know that he expected me to really show up, but I did. And they were all up at the staging area at AOAA. And I was like, hey, Brent, get in, let's go. And I just rolled up in there, looped around, pulled up right in the middle of the group, parked right next to Colt and Matt from Bleep and Jeep. Wasn't really sure who they were. Holly, Mischief Maker, was there. Marlon and Luna with Off-Road and Chill. Like all these awesome big name YouTube people. And they're just normal people. They're really awesome. Every single one of them. Love them all. I consider them all friends now. And you know, it was just really cool. You know, just down to earth people. And we went and ran Mammoth Trail, and I got through the first part, which now they've named the first part Nothing. So my bragging rights are I've done nothing 3 times now. And haven't made it through the second portion of the trail yet.
Yeah.
I mean, that trail is insane.
It is.
Like when they first showed the video of it, just the trail itself,
Yeah,
you're kind of like
the drone footage.
Yeah, you're just kind of like, okay, cool. Like that's an awesome
nice
looking rock garden.
Yeah,
Like,
but then you get there in person.
well, and then towards the end of the video, they drive in from the back end of it, and you see how tall those boulders are compared to their vehicle.
They're
You're like
Volkswagen bus size rocks.
and you're like, holy
planets.
shit, that's not a rock garden.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's wild.
I always try to, like, when I'm looking at wheeling videos or pictures, I think about how big the size tire is on the rig, and that you compare that to the rock, and then that gives you an idea of what you're looking at.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, at least my problem is, like, we're so used to lifted Jeeps and big rigs that, like, I think that skews our perspective, or at least mine. Because, like, at the shop, we get a stock JK, and I'm like,
You're tiny.
like, where's the rest of it?
You guys need to see my buggy in person if you haven't. I'm not sure if you guys have, but I mean, in pictures, people, you know, I've had numerous people tell me, like, once they see it in person, they're like, holy crap, it's like way smaller.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it's a moon buggy. Like, it's.
Well, that's by design. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a small person too, so it's just kind of all to scale. But then you get the buggy out there in the rocks. There's this one picture of me out in Mammoth, and it went a little viral on the internet. But the buggy and the rocks there on that trail just really did the trail justice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it just showed the scale of the trail and the rocks.
Yeah, I want to go there so bad.
I want to wheel it again. Like, it's been almost 15 years since I've been on a trail in Moab. Like, I would have preferred to wheel the rental car a little more if we had more time, but we were just so exhausted by the end of that week.
You know how I'm always going to feel about that, but we wheeled it about as hard as I was comfortable with it.
You know, you don't work for Enterprise anymore. You can be okay with off-roading.
Oh, no.
rental cars.
It's
Everybody else does it.
It's not. I have no issue destroying an Enterprise car.
I know, it was your credit card with the deposit.
There it is.
I get it. Yeah,
you want to put somebody else's on there? Be my guest.
because, you know, we don't have a shop that can fix it before we return it. We're not capable of that at all.
Oh, man.
Also,
Cheryl did us good, though.
yeah, we did probably wreck that Jeep, though.
Oh, no, not probably. We definitely wrecked that.
It developed a bit of a shimmy.
A little bit.
So there's a, when you're leaving Moab, like, there's a canyon road through the LaSalle Mountains that drops down into Colorado where I used to live. And it's like 25 miles of maintained dirt road. But being November, and frankly at the time we didn't realize it, but historic snowfall in Utah this year, we ended up driving it through like a foot of snow with like basically zero recovery gear by ourselves. But I knew exactly where we were going, so that helped.
It snowed on us a little bit out there. For 3 days, it was
It doesn't
20 degrees.
Yeah, it doesn't snow out there very often.
We were sleeping in the trailer, and I had 2 heaters going. We didn't think to put the partition wall up between the front and back of the trailer. So, I mean, if we didn't have like our thermal sleeping bag, we would have probably gone and tried to find a hotel.
Yeah.
Like
Which
it
would
was
have been really hard to do.
Yeah, it was cold. Like we were relying on that sleeping bag and body heat. And then like it was so cold for 2 days, like I didn't even change clothes. I just like slept in my quilted Carhartt bibs, wool socks, woke up every morning dressed up like I was going skiing or something.
Dude, it's a dry cold too. It's like it bites, it cuts through everything.
I had like feet warmers in my boots, hand warmers in my gloves, body warmers on my body, and
like the sun would come out, and you'd be on top of a mountain, and you get warm. You want to take everything off, and then you get back down to the bottom, and you're just putting everything back on.
Yeah.
So you're not a cold weather person then?
I hate the cold, but I love wheeling more, so I tolerate it. Like I took the buggy out this winter and like didn't care. Like There was one day we went up to the cove and like I kept my mouth shut, but I was so cold. I didn't like want anyone to know, but like when everybody was stopping, I would go hop in Brent's JK and blast the heat.
I love the cold, but I don't do snow wheeling. It's just it's like for me, snow wheeling's like mud.
Yeah.
It's like it's just too much of a mess. It makes everything unnecessarily difficult.
And you probably can break stuff more because you
when
can't
something
see
happens,
what's under the snow.
You're having to fix it or recover
right.
Yeah.
in cold weather.
Right.
Yeah,
Which
we haven't
isn't
wheeled
fun.
like in the snow, but like there's been snow on the ground, but nothing
Right.
significant. It was cold as shit.
Yeah. That's the one benefit of I think some of the further west stuff. Like, yeah, it does get cold and it does snow, but it's also it's a different snow. Like that's probably the one downside to the East Coast wheeling in the
Like
winter.
powdery snow out west.
Yeah, everything's wet and
just
sloppy
get
and
slush.
icy. It's just gross
Yeah.
here. Out there, you can just drive right through
Yeah.
it. It's a little bit
Yeah.
easier.
That powdery snow.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, so I guess since we were on last, we I can't remember, Tim,
It's been about a year.
if we had done Hell and Back yet.
No, you didn't. You were gone.
Yeah, we did the 24-hour Hell and Back challenge up in New Hampshire at Field and Forest, which is got to be one of the gnarliest parks on the East Coast. The rocks there are like the size of the rocks in the Mammoth Trail. They're just not like condensed and obviously not man-made trails. But that was cool experience. You know, we made it all 24 hours, didn't break anything, didn't fall asleep any. Can't say that for Brent. Brent got in our friend Alan's rig with the heat on, and I walked up and he was snoozing.
Well, yeah, he wasn't the one that had to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Passenger princess.
But yeah, that was a really cool experience. Met some cool people, made some, lifelong friends out of that, and really enjoyed doing that. And it was definitely the experience of a lifetime. I would love the opportunity to do it again. And the buggy performed really well out there. You know, we had to pull cable a few times, but
It's kind of the point, isn't it?
Yeah, less than others, but also I was in a buggy on what some would deem buggy trails, and they were in full-size rigs with, drag axles, and yeah, I mean, they did great. There's this one section on a trail where I think me and Marvin were the only two people that didn't winch through it. And Marvin's a hell of a driver, man. And that Jeepster's a big rig.
I love that rig, too.
Oh, man. Did you see the paint job he just got done on it?
I haven't watched the video
yeah.
yet.
Check out the latest YouTube episode on his channel where he unveils the new paint job on it. It's incredible.
See how long it takes to ruin it.
Well, no, that's the beauty of this paint job.
Oh.
Okay?
All right.
It's meant, like, it accents the body damage.
Oh.
And as he gets more, he
You just
can
do it again.
Well, no, like he'll just use a paint marker and accent the body damage. Just once you see it, you'll know what I mean.
I'll have to watch that video later.
It's
on my
they incorporated it into it because it wouldn't have made sense not
that's
to.
Smart.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. This guy who did it is from Germany, and like he's viral on the internet right now. He just does these really cool free-handed paint jobs with spray paint and paint markers.
Oh, that's cool.
And he got some new KMC bead locks and had them like custom painted to match.
okay.
Yeah, they even did the winch, the bead locks,
the B-pillar,
KC lights,
The
everything.
go fast holes, all that's like color
Yeah.
matched.
It's
Offset
super
the
sweet.
wheels.
Money.
It's pretty clean.
We need more money.
No, we need sponsors. Sponsors.
Send the check.
Then we don't need money. It'll be easier to find the money, though, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Start digging up.
Ask Leah about getting sponsors and how that's going. Because you guys have a few.
Did you guys grab a few?
I'm had a build sponsorship with Yukon Gear and
nice.
Axle,
Okay.
and that was fantastic. I'm a team ambassador for Yukon Gear and Axle now, which that's not necessarily a sponsorship. I get special pricing and whatnot,
Yep.
Yeah.
but I'm not paid.
Yeah.
And then
That's
I'm on.
still cool though. Like,
Oh
that's-
yeah, it's totally cool. There's an obligation to it.
Yeah.
But that's cool. They've been with me since the beginning. They hooked me up with that build sponsorship. They believed in me. So I'm happy to rep for them now.
Yeah.
And then more recently, I just got onto.
That's actually really
they're
cool.
showing a picture of Marvin's Jeepster right now, painted up.
Damn it.
But yeah, then I just signed with PRP, so I'm on Team PRP now too, which of course that happened after I got Brent seats and shreddy harnesses and steering wheel.
Naturally.
Can we backdate that guy?
Yeah.
Credit
I need
account.
new seats in my buggy pretty badly, so I'm eyeballing that. So
Yeah.
That's awesome.
working towards getting those new seats.
Hell
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
I do need a steering wheel disconnect though.
Make it easy to get in and out.
Yeah.
That's what doors
sure.
are for.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get my pedals in first, and
Yeah.
then I'll get the steering wheel in place. That way, I know exactly where my knees are gonna be
Yep.
and stuff.
Yep.
But I got to make like a custom offset brake pedal to get it, a little bit more to the left.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Because the way the front's like so pinched,
Yep.
the brake booster had to, I got
Buggy life.
Yeah, it's like an 1/8 inch from the tube.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, you'll be right.
Oh,
You'll get used to it.
It's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Brent likes to do things a couple times.
Yeah.
That's see, everybody. That's how you learn.
So I got my seats all mounted, and I'm like, all right, awesome, great. Then I get the Atlas in the mail, bolt the Atlas up,
PJ?
and
know.
it's set up maybe a 1/2 inch higher than I thought. So
Yeah. Don't mind my dog losing his shit right now. It's probably an Amazon delivery.
Yes.
Yeah, I've definitely learned that over the years of like getting ahead of myself or just putting it together to make it work and then having to undo it. Like I'm going through that right now with the YJ.
Oh, yes.
Because like I got the project like a third finished, wired it up, got everything running, and now that I have the heads off, I'm just looking at everything that we did to make it run, and I'm like, I need to redo all of this. Mm-hmm. So it's like I was aiming for mid-May. I don't think that's going to end up happening because it's already May. Actually, by the time this episode comes out, it's probably mid-May.
yeah, I built an engine skid, for the front. Got it all ready. Cut the big old pieces of plate to go in. I'm like, I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like the way it looks.
Yeah, that's
so-
a tough one too.
Yeah, sometimes you have to see it to know that you don't want it.
Yeah, it's like I want to learn CAD so I can avoid doing that, but I also know I could probably build it 3 times before I learn CAD. Like it'd be quicker for me to build it 3 times.
Yeah.
Because I don't do computers. So
Very true.
yeah.
Yeah, so we're hitting up AOP this weekend for the Trail Trash. I think it's called Meet and Beat event. We're really only going up there because I scored some 42-inch red labels that only have a couple trips on them for Brent's rig.
Oh, nice.
And the guy's from Georgia, and he's
'em.
going to be at that event.
Oh,
so I was like, okay, well, we can go up there and wheel too if wanted to check out AOP.
Yeah.
He's also hooking me up with some Toyota knuckle studs and Toyota stock knuckles, just so I have some spares. I'm going to get those keyed, send those off to Front Range Off-Road and get those keyed, and then put them on the rear, and then take the rear ones off and send those in, and then get those back and put them in the front. That's just definitely an upgrade I've wanted to do, because right now with Toyota stock knuckle studs, you've got to torque them like between every trail,
Yeah.
just to make sure they're
Yeah,
not.
they machine flats on the sides of the knuckle at the top.
Yeah.
So it like brings it in a little bit narrower, and then their high steer arm overlays that.
The
And so when you
stock,
bolt
yeah.
it down, it's just pinched on where it's been machined.
And
And so it's, it can't go left and right. The nuts are just keeping it down.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, "Oh, just get the 6 shooters," and I'm like, "Well, I've been told by a lot of experienced Toyota guys, then you're just chasing around six
Right.
studs
Yeah.
instead of 4,
Right.
and you're not really solving
Yeah.
the problem."
Yeah, just get it machined and be done with it.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper. You can get
Yeah, you can
the
get
whole set done for like $300.
Yeah,
That's not
it's
bad at all.
Yeah, I think it's actually like $50 more to get the 6 shooters versus sending your
And that's
knuckles
for
in and getting
one-
them keyed.
Yeah, that's for one axle. So she's going to do both
4,
axles
Yeah.
for $600 versus just one set of 6 shooters for
Yeah.
like
Solve the
$679
problem.
or
Don't
something.
make it more tedious.
Yeah, just kind of, that's the beefier way to go.
And it's not worth just welding them in.
Oh no,
No.
What do you mean, like cast to
Yeah.
the knuckle?
Yeah, get a little preheat in there.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
It's not that.
See, he says that, and then he'd look at it afterwards and go, "I don't like that. We
Yeah,
gotta
and
do
then,
it."
yeah, buy new knuckles and get them machined. Yeah, probably. You're not wrong. But yeah, see, like that's I would be like, fuck this. I'm tired.
Oh, I know.
I'm tired of tightening these down. Just run a couple beads through it, and if it breaks, it breaks.
You know, that's,
Well, that's not. I
Duct
mean,
tape.
it's really like the friction that holds the whole
Right.
setup together. The studs are just kind of there holding the steer arm in place to the
Yeah,
knuckle.
yeah.
But yeah, so
Well, that's why you get the weld, because then the weld just holds it in
but
place.
see that's
then you probably just break the whole knuckle.
see that's I think that's what scares me about us one day bringing a welder with us on a trip.
Yeah.
is you doing something going, screw it, I'm just gonna weld it together, and then we get all
Honestly,
the way back, and you go, why did I do that?
I
Now
don't-
I got to redo all of this.
I may change my mind as we do dumber things with our Jeeps, but I don't really see any practical use for having a welder on the trail. Thank God. Like we're creative enough with ratchet straps and plywood that we can get it back to camp or get it home.
There are situations where you have to, though. We were
I
when
would-
we were at Area
yeah.
BFE. A guy, he broke the cross members.
Yeah, the rear lower link cross member.
Yeah, and
Ratchet strap,
they had a. I mean, but he was on a vertical ledge when it happened,
ratchet strap, two ratchet
and
straps.
it took a literal monster truck came out there and pulled his buggy up off that ledge, and then Thomas and Max with Fab and 801 came out with a trail welder, and they fixed it back up, and dude wheeled it the rest of the weekend. It was wild.
That's like fixing it.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
Like like for me, and maybe it's because we typically wheel locally. Like, you know, we're an hour and a half from the cove. So
Yeah.
like, if I got to put it on the trailer, bring it home, weld it, and then bring it back to the cove, like, so be it.
Yeah. I
Like-
think if he had continued to drove it that way, he probably would have destroyed his drive shaft and some other things.
Oh yeah. I'm sure.
But
It wouldn't move.
Yeah.
It wouldn't move because
yeah, it was too bound up.
Yeah.
yeah, it rolled the rear axle forward
Yeah.
so far. The pinion
Yeah.
yokes,
Just
it was bad.
Oh, yeah.
It was bad.
yeah, that was our last day out in Moab. We spent the day doing a trail repair. So
Yeah.
that was a little bit of a bummer,
Yeah.
but we were real tempted to stay Saturday too. And we had the kids back home though, and we needed to get back to reality.
Damn kids.
The drive home sucked.
Yeah, it's
It always does.
Yeah.
When you're going there, you're all excited. You're like
Yeah.
hopped up, and you're like, yes, it's gonna be the greatest thing ever. By the time you headed home, you're tired.
Yeah.
Which route did you
Dirty.
guys take?
We took the southern route. We took 40 because
yeah.
the Colorado passes were bad.
Yeah.
So and I think that was the right call.
what we talked about last
Yeah,
time.
70 is definitely shorter, but if you're
40
towing
is
a trailer,
flatter, yeah.
if you're towing a trailer going through Colorado into Utah is like that's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Maybe
I've
we
done-
get lucky and that restaurant's still open by the time we're towing something through there again.
Which one?
The one we got kicked out of.
Oh, that was in Santa Fe. That was a
Yeah.
little past Utah, but yeah.
I think when we go out to Sand Hollow for Trail Hero, we're going to try to make the trip back home a little more enjoyable. We're going to try to hit up Farmington, New Mexico, Arizona, maybe even.
There's nothing on Route 66. Save yourselves the headache.
Yeah.
It's actually sad.
It's depressing.
Yeah.
Very
It's really
depressing.
depressing. Because we did the opposite. We did 40 to Vegas, and we're like, well, that was a really shitty drive. And when I lived in Colorado, I had driven 70 5 or 6 times. So I was like, I know 70. Like, we can just take 70 back. Like, it's a prettier drive. It's just, but
Except through Kansas.
yeah, but trucking. Yeah, oh yeah, Kansas is miserable.
Oh, I think Tennessee and Arkansas were the worst.
Arkansas is the worst state in the country.
Tennessee just seems like it's never ending.
Tom almost got assaulted by a
A
juggalo.
juggalo, yeah, in the bathroom.
Oh wow, we drove through a tornado in Arkansas. That
Okay.
was like scary. We like took shelter at a gas station, and like sirens are going off, and the power cut out, and I'm just like freaking out.
I would have kept driving.
That the oh no,
Storm chaser
I
style.
was freaking out. Brent was like laughing at me. He was like, "It's fine," and I'm like, "No,
Just a
pull
little
over,
wind.
pull
Welcome
over."
to our husband club.
Well, I mean,
Brent.
that enclosed trailer is like a freaking sailboat in the wind, and I was just like worried about the trailer getting totaled and taken over because
It's
like
not the Wizard of Oz. You're not going to get launched.
I don't know.
into
There was
another
like tractor
county.
trailers like blown over. So
They're big. They're big.
Yeah.
They're big sails. You're a little sail.
yeah, I don't know. Trailer's pretty
Low to
big.
the ground.
Yeah,
No, it's
it was sketch.
everything about Arkansas is sketchy.
Yeah,
and horrible.
It's yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, we almost did a Cracker Barrel in Arkansas, but we were like, let's just keep driving and get breakfast in Kansas where we're not going to be raped.
Yeah.
A guy with like full clown makeup followed me into a bathroom, got to the urinal next to me, and was moaning
Oh God.
at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
That's sketchy.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah, it was really
He came out of the bathroom so fast. He's like, "Let's go. We got to go."
Yeah.
We're like,
That's
"What?" He's
never a
like,
good
"Just get in
feeling
the
when
car."
someone follows you into a bathroom
No.
late at night. I got followed in a bathroom at a campground one time at like 3 a.m.
Oh no.
And like I had like my little pocket knife out and I was like, I'm ready to stab somebody. Like,
Yeah. The only saving grace was I knew Tim was in one of the stalls because he had gone in first. So I was like, if I got to take this guy with my pants down, at least Tim's going to come out.
Also pants down.
Nobody wants to fight a naked guy. I mean, that's
I don't
rule
know.
number
It
one
sounds
with
like
me.
that guy might have wanted to.
Yeah. I think that's what
I
he
don't
was
think
hoping
that guy
for.
knew where he was.
Yeah. It was definitely a weird interaction. Oh man.
No, thank you.
Yeah, when we stayed in the trailer at the truck stop, I had to use the
Yeah.
bathroom in the middle of the night, and I was like, unlocked the door and like peeked out. There was like 50 tractor trailers, and I was like, no,
Yes.
I'm using the camping toilet in the back of the trailer.
Yeah.
Nope.
Just cut a little hole in the trailer.
We just have one of those portable camping toilets,
Yeah.
so that works.
Yeah. That's definitely a better solution.
Yeah. When it was 20 degrees out at night, you did not want to go outside the trailer for anything.
That's the worst part about camping in the winter is if you have to pee, like you have to get out of your tent, you got to get dressed, get out, and get undressed, get back in your.
Yeah.
It's just too much work.
Yeah.
Man, what a good plug this would be right now
For skinny guy campers with the. Yeah. That's
heated interior and flushable toilet
yeah.
in the kit and caboodle package.
the big black like truck cap thing in my driveway is actually a camper. We're currently starting to sell them at the shop. Think of like a giant rooftop tent with running water and power.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's really convenient.
So nice.
Gosh, this guy had this homemade trailer or camper on his trailer at the Big Dogs last weekend. And it just looked really good. And I asked if I could see the inside. And he had a 30-gallon water tank in there. But he had a shower, too. And I was like, what are you using to heat the water? He got a fish tank heater.
Oh,
A $20 fish tank heater. And he said it
how that
heated
works.
the 30 gallons of water
That
to
makes
98
sense.
degrees.
That makes sense, actually.
I was like, that is genius.
I wonder how long it takes to get it hot.
To heat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's probably
you
not
know,
on demand hot water,
no, but I think he probably turns it on like on his way up,
Yeah.
and then it's ready. I mean, you don't normally shower as soon as you get to
Yeah.
where you're going.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I thought it was practical, and I'm all about
absolutely.
a budget build. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to do something like that for our trailer.
I feel like
The,
that's something that a good number of people could probably figure out
Yeah.
on their own. Like if they thought about it, they went, oh, yeah, make that work.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem overly complicated.
Yeah, even if you did like 2 of them or something.
Yeah, you can get like a I forget how many gallons, but I think there was like a 200-gallon fish tank heater, and it was like $50 on Amazon. I mean,
Yeah.
that's still cheaper than like the tankless
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
water heaters.
Yeah, the nice thing with the skinny guys is they have, because the camper itself has heat, so it's all propane. It's like an
Mm-hmm.
RV heater, and that's a hot water heater and forced air heater all in one.
It's super nice.
Yeah, we're probably gonna do. Brent wants to do propane heat, but I'm thinking more. I'd rather do a mini split in the trailer.
Yeah, I guess If you, as long as you have the power for it. If I mean
Yeah.
that trailer's probably big enough to do a pretty big solar setup, so you could
Yeah,
definitely.
I would like to run solar and
Yeah.
do a mini split. I don't know. I just get nervous whenever there's pilot flames involved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's the nice thing is like the RV and camping market is so big. There's a lot of like good safety features and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like even this thing for being a tent, like it still has smoke detectors and CO detectors in it because to be a certified RV it has to. But that's really that's the big one.
That's
We've
cool.
survived many nights with buddy heaters and.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would like as a firefighter, like they also sketch me out. Like you're not alone on that. So
Yeah,
that's-
we had a little buddy heater, propane heater in the trailer for Moab, but then we also had an electric space heater too, but that was plugged into a power strip, which I know that's kind of a no-no.
Yeah.
Space heaters in general usually sketch me out. I have one, but I
Yeah.
try not to use it as often as I can.
Yeah, I think if I had to choose, I would do propane over electric space heater from a safety standpoint.
Yeah.
As long as like a buddy heater, like they have the fall over protections and all that kind of stuff. But it's yeah.
Yeah, the trailer has taken a little bit. It's gone on the back burner with his
Usually
buggy
does.
build.
Yeah.
Like we have a futon in there and
Nice.
a countertop.
nice.
We have a refrigerator and a little microwave.
Like a
and
little toy hauler.
yeah, I mean, it's just like it's got what we need. But like after going out to Moab and staying in it for over a week, it was like I would like a
this
little
out
more
more.
comforts
Yeah.
in here.
Can you fit both buggies in that trailer?
Yeah, that's why
Oh,
we
nice.
bought it.
Okay.
It's 36 foot to the
yeah.
nose.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
plenty
so
of space.
Yeah, I have to, have a certain offset on the wheel.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the race lines, and then I just came across the Battleborn wheels.
They
And
make
I
they
thi-
make a good product.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Battleborn just because it's a 20x9,
Okay.
and the race lines were a 20x10.
Yeah.
And with a negative 4.5 backspacing, it's essentially an inch wider on
Yep.
the outside.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Little things.
We've done a few of the Battleborn wheels at the
Yep.
shop. They're
Yeah, they're
good.
really nice.
Yeah, and they're a good company to work with too. They're
Send
good
the
dudes.
check.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, having a window in the camper trailer will be
yeah,
Yeah.
I just
Great.
found a.
feels like you're in the twilight zone. It's just like, is the light out yet?
Yeah, you wake up in the morning and you're like, is it morning or is it like 3:00 in the morning? You don't know what's going on, and then, or you're like, am I late to go wheeling? And yeah, so I found a camper window on Marketplace for $40. So we're gonna
There you
put
go.
that in. It's a little nerve wracking to cut into the side of your 2019 trailer, but
Just goop it up real good. You'll be
yeah,
fine.
we got the tape and everything,
Yeah.
and we'll do it right. But
Just needs to stop raining.
Yes,
yeah.
It's all right. We needed the rain though. My grass grew like literally overnight.
Yeah, tell me about
ours did too.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's the time of the year where you can get away with mowing like once a month unless it rains.
it. Yeah.
So where do you guys park everything? Like, do you have an HOA? Do you have neighbors?
Yeah, they love us.
Yeah.
We keep the trailer out on the street till the neighbors start complaining, and then we back it into the backyard.
Nice.
And it's got to be backed in. We have an 8-foot gate, so there's like 6 inches on either side.
Nice.
And Brent backs it in there with me standing on one side, spotting them in. And we keep my buggy in the enclosed trailer, and then his is in the garage while he's building it. We have a 2-car garage, but one half of the garage has all his RC business. It has the lathes and 3D printers and all that. But this summer, at some point, we plan to pull everything out of the garage and rework it so that like we can at least have my buggy in there too, like in case they both need work. Like we had stuff to do to my buggy, and then it rained Friday, and then it rained today. So we were up till 10 o'clock last night in the driveway working on my buggy.
Yeah.
And it's just
That must be the part the HOA really likes.
Oh yeah, our driveway is like full of like rust and oil stains.
Yes.
Everyone else's is like black and sealed and shiny.
Nope. Screw it.
Yeah, I like started to power wash it yesterday, and I was like, fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah. Fire the grinder.
I was because I was cutting those panels out, and then it rained the next day, and I didn't like spray the driveway off or
Right, so now it's all
blow it off.
rusty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, meh.
Yeah. All those sparks turn. You always
It's
forget that sparks
patinaed.
are metal. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a nice patina on the driveway. It's coming in style.
It's got
It fits.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's next thing you know, it'll be on HGTV. People will be doing like because they stain concrete now, right? Like
They'll
the
sell
floor in
rust.
here is
Metal flake kits.
yeah.
Apply before rain.
Just spray paint the driveway.
Faux finish.
Oh yeah, there you go.
It's a couple cans of what Tim likes to call his Adam's Driveshaft's powder coat.
Yes.
We,
Yes, good old black spray paint.
We visited their shop when we were in Vegas, and like Tim swore that Adams powder coated all their drive shafts like a nice gloss black, and it's literally a dude with a case of like the cheapest black spray paint you can buy, and like a homemade paint booth, just painting drive shafts by hand with a rattle can.
Hey,
No mask.
I mean, they get
No, he had a mask.
They get beat to hell anyways.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
Well, that's what they said. They were like,
Yeah.
we want you to be able to just touch it up on the go. Like,
Yeah.
why are we going to powder coat it so that you have to take it out and go get it fixed?
Yeah.
I knew they were painted. I just always I envisioned like a full paint booth and a guy with a spray gun doing
With, like, 30 drive shafts.
50 drive shafts on a rack at a time. And now they build it, and spray paint it, dry it.
Yeah.
I was like, well, now I feel better about touching up drive shafts with spray paint when they come in.
That's all
Yeah.
we were doing.
But yeah, the old Adams drive shaft powder coating.
Yeah, I just spray bomb the buggy just to
Oh, yeah.
prevent rust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it. Like, I don't worry about it otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to figure out what color spray bomb I'm going to make the YJ.
Rust.
No, I'm trying to make it nice-ish.
What do you guys got coming up for the rest of the year?
So we have AOP next weekend, and then, what do we have planned after that?
You got a little SLRC
Oh yeah,
comp.
Nice.
I'm running the open class in a comp at the Good Evening Ranch in June.
Nice.
So I guess you don't have to be street legal anymore to run street legal.
They
off-road?
just they have the street legal class,
Oh,
but
okay.
they're just not running it at the Good Evening Ranch.
Oh,
Okay.
They're only running the open class comp. But a weekend or two before that, I'm going to the Great American Crawl at Good Evening Ranch, and then I'll be back there a week or two later for the comp.
Nice.
And
Get a little pre-run in.
yeah, well, yeah, I'll probably go play on the comp course some, but you never know how they're going to set the
Yeah.
gates, anyways. So, it'll be like a C type style course, one winch allowed. But if you winch and do the same amount of gates as somebody else, obviously the guy who didn't use their winch will win.
Makes sense.
We got
You know,
the
unless
rest of
there's
the
like
big
a-
dogs events.
Yeah, big dogs. Unless there's like a scenario where I break something or need recovery, I don't anticipate using my winch. I'm going to be in a full tube buggy with a rear
Yeah.
steer. It'd be kind of embarrassing if I winched through a gate. So,
Depends on who you ask. I mean, the guy making the course might say otherwise.
winching's very frowned upon.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because I guess, there's people who might winch through a gate just to clear the gate, but then there's other people who might drive it.
Right.
And then if the person that winched through has the fastest time and cleared more gates, but they winched, it's just kind of,
Yeah.
it just creates a conflict.
I could see that.
So,
No winching then.
I mean, and this is the open class amateur series for SLRC. So, I mean, these courses are designed to be a lot easier. I'm not running the X-Rock comp. I mean,
Right.
those courses are crazy. Those guys are all crazy and super talented drivers. So,
Yeah.
Crazy being the number one attribute.
I think
Yeah.
you have to be a little mildly crazy to do any
Oh, yeah.
competition off-road racing.
Absolutely.
yeah, the X-Rocks
when do we start?
courses are wild.
Well, we just did I guess the episode's out now, but like we just interviewed Kevin Jones, who's one of the Ultra 4 Jones.
Yeah, saw that.
And like my question to him was like, how do you get used to doing 100 miles an hour through the desert? Because like Tim and I did 20 miles an hour down a dirt road and it was sketchy. And he's like, I don't know. I just grew up in California, so I'm used to it. I'm like, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
That's not an answer.
I guess when the rig is built for it and the suspension and everything, I mean,
Yeah.
that makes a big
Yeah.
difference versus,
I think it's just that mental
blowing
block of like
down a dirt road in a rental.
you're so used to off-roading at low speeds.
Oh no, we
Yeah.
did in our trail rigs at the Cove, like
Yeah, this
like
is
coming
not built
across
for
middle
speed.
road, like where the trailer parking is for like the dirt bikes.
Yeah.
like I forget what we were like racing back to camp.
Yeah.
and like I went to pass them and like I
That
don't.
puckers your butthole.
Yeah, but it was no more than 15, 20 miles an
yeah.
hour, and he ripped a shock out of his XJ, and it's like,
Oh, God.
how do you do this at 100 plus for hours? Like, it's not even like it's not
Yeah.
like it's a sprint from trail to trail. It's
my friend
50
Abby.
miles.
She was a co-driver in King of the Hammers, and on the pre-run, they were going like 65, 70
Yeah.
and rolled the car.
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, she got pretty banged up. Like
Yeah.
she was okay, but she was like, I'm not sure I'm ready for this again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be a big mental block
Yeah,
if something
it's-
like that happens.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's one thing to flop it relatively stationary.
Yeah.
And it's another to roll
60
it
miles an hour.
50
Yeah,
times,
that's gotta
even
be
if it is soft
scary.
sand.
Yeah, so Great American Crawl, the comp, then Big Dogs events, and then other than that, I'm just trying to leave the schedule open this year. I was going to be a hired guide for the ultimate off-road field trip, but that whole series got canceled, so that really opened us up. So I'm going to try to hit up some more of the Great American Crawl events, and obviously we love going to Big Dogs.
Trail Hero.
Trail Hero in
Hopefully.
October. There's something else in September. I can't remember. We've just been on the go. I didn't expect our season to start out like this.
Yeah.
I think there's a Great American Crawl at AOAA.
Yeah, they're having
September.
one or two there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that one's
I
on
think
our
maybe
radar.
at Roush Creek too. I definitely want to hit up Roush Creek again. I'd like to go to AOAA again. I feel like I've never left AOAA and felt satisfied.
Yeah.
There's so much driving in between the trails
so
there, and we
big.
don't know our way around.
Yeah.
And they recently updated the trail map on Maprika, so
Oh,
hopefully
nice.
that'll be better.
Okay.
But you still don't know which is the beginning of the trail and which is the end.
Yeah.
So hopefully they've updated that on Maprika, or they've put signs up that tell you this is the bottom of the trail, this is the top. Because then if it takes you 20 minutes to loop back around and get to the top of the trail. So
Such a massive place too.
Yeah.
It's so easy to just get turned around and go.
Yeah,
have
that
we been over here yet?
That was
I don't
definitely
know.
the benefit of Roush is you can link trails so much easier at Roush.
Yeah, I enjoyed Roush. It reminded me of the Cove a good bit, but
Yeah.
I'd like to explore AOA more, have some more time there, and AOP is going to be cool to check out. Haven't been to Windrock, want to check out Windrock too. I hear it's very similar to AOAA though, and there's a lot of driving. It's just like a massive place.
Yeah.
So hopefully, we might do the Great American Crawl there. Maybe the Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion, just to do Windrock the week after.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
We've been I'll probably end up going to Overland Expo with the shop in Southern Virginia in October, and we were talking about basically doing Overland Expo for a weekend and then going and wheeling in Good Evening Ranch, or go down to Tennessee since you're a third of the way there already, and make a whole trip out of it. But that's really the only big one on our radar. Everything else is we're just kind of going with the flow.
yeah, you guys gonna come out to any Big Dogs?
Scheduling is just tough, at least for the first half, because
Babies.
yeah, he just had a baby. My wife's
Oh, yeah.
pregnant, so it's like the Spring Fling falls on a terrible weekend in June for me. SummerSlam is always a tough one because we're usually slammed at the shop.
Main Jambo's usually the one where
Main
we can,
Jambo's the one we
Yeah.
we put things aside to go to Main Jambo.
Yeah.
I had hopes of going to Icebreakers this year, but the Jeep's still in pieces. It's just
Not nearly as bad as you thought, though.
Yeah, I don't have to put a new motor in it, so
Yeah,
I got that
so
going for me.
that's always
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, usually when I blow motors up, I just buy another rig. It's just cheaper.
Not right now.
That's yeah. Well, no. Yeah, I mean the motor for that would have been like $500, so it would have
Yeah.
been cheaper to put a new motor in it. But it's
We found a guy out in West Virginia who has a Suzuki graveyard, so it's my little secret.
Oh.
It's I'll be okay
Yeah.
because of the Suzuki graveyard.
Yeah.
He's got anything I could need in multiples.
It's
Yeah.
always nice when
So,
you
yeah.
find those little
Yeah, it's a nice little
just those
honey hole.
guys, and you're just like, why'd you start doing this?
Leave one
Oh,
on
Well, he
speed dial.
was selling a sidekick, and I was just going to buy the whole thing.
Yeah.
And when I told him what I was going to do with it, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to rip it apart and take the engine out. He was like,
That's what I do."
No, no, these things are so rare. I have another one you can take the engine
Wow.
out of. And then he shows me his backyard, and he had 15 Suzuki sidekicks.
he doesn't by any chance also have a Zuzu's, does he?
No.
Oh,
damn.
No, he has 8-valve and 16-valve sidekicks and transmissions and automatic transmissions.
I gotta
Damn.
find a V6 for a Zuzu Via Cross for a customer.
Good luck.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because I got to find one that's in better condition than the one that is currently knocking and puking oil in his
Probably
current
have
vehicle.
better luck looking more south.
Yeah. Yeah, it's everything on eBay is like $1,500, which he's like, that's more than I paid for the whole thing. And I was like, well, yeah, it's got an engine knock, so.
You've rebuilt the engine.
Yeah, that's not any cheaper. Like
Way more time consuming.
it like to completely gut an engine, machine it, and put it back together through the machine shop is $3,500 for a 4-liter. And those parts, like you can buy those parts on Rock Auto at $50 a piston. Like I know it's mostly a GM engine, but I would imagine whatever's broken in there is not going to be easy to find. Yeah, it's not cheap. Machine work's not cheap. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
No. Especially when you don't have a very popular model.
Well, it's not. They're very popular.
Well,
they're just super rare.
Yeah, like
It's like a 2-year model that.
yeah,
I forget what the number was, but it's like less than 20,000 of them.
yeah. That's
And there's
you're gonna struggle.
Probably
with that
nowhere near that many left. So my dog is very active today.
Is that your dog or your wife?
Probably my dog. My wife doesn't just randomly throw things across the
Well,
house.
she was upstairs painting. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and now she's probably taking a nap,
Also true.
which is why the dog's throwing things across the house.
Also true.
So it's another unhinged podcast here at the Dirt Drive. Dogs
I had to go
barking.
to my buddy's machine shop, and her header on the buggy was like leaking, really bad. And I was going to put like 2 gaskets on
Yeah.
there, and that, but I take it off.
Some
and
machinist
I'm
just
looking at
twitched.
it on the floor in
Yeah.
the driveway, and it was like rocking
Oh.
back and forth like a seesaw.
Yeah.
So
A little warped.
yeah, I was planning on just like clamping it into a mill and doing it, but we just couldn't figure out a way to jig it up and clamp it down. He didn't have
Yeah.
a lot of setup material or stuff, but so the answer was to just heat the whole thing up glowing red.
Yep.
And then clamp it down to like this 3/4 inch steel table that
Yep.
he had, and we let it sit for about 40 minutes and cool down, and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Went
it sounds a
over
lot
to,
better now.
He had like this giant belt sander, and I just kept surface sanding it till
Yeah.
I couldn't see any carbon in between the
Machined.
yeah machined.
They're machined. Hand machined.
Yeah.
That's custom.
It's way better.
It's custom. That's what we call that.
Yeah, it sounds a lot better now, though, for sure.
I
Yeah.
couldn't tell if valves were tapping or what was going
Oh,
on.
that's the worst.
Yeah, we were out there doing that Moab Rim Trail, and you're just like off camber on
Is
this
it gonna
constant
blow up?
climb.
Yeah.
And check the oil. We're like a quart low. Somebody had a quart of oil. I dumped that in there, so I was like, okay, well, I feel better about that, but I could still hear it just
Yeah.
tapping away, and it was driving me nuts. So that's something that got fixed when we got back home. And what else? The winch switches, we got those
Yeah.
fixed.
Nothing major.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put the new knuckle in, which probably wasn't really necessary. We thought one of the holes was stripped, but once we took it apart, it was just another sheared knuckle stud. But it was previously bent, and we should have replaced it then. But we were out in Moab and just trying to get back out on the trail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Run it.
but now I have extra knuckles, so that's not a bad thing.
There you go.
Cool.
Never hurts to have spare parts, but
No, I'm like beginning to hoard them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like the other people have messaged me and been like, "Do you still need knuckles?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
Always.
always."
If you don't.
like, you need studs, I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah, but that's also the cycle of what we do, right? Because like now you'll become the person that has the Suzuki graveyard, the stockpile of knuckles, and somebody
Yeah.
else will go, "Anybody have knuckles for this?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, I got 7 sets. Here you go."
Yeah.
I'm like gonna be greedy with them.
I didn't say you don't charge for them. I think Tim sold a drive shaft to an XJ at a Big Dogs event for like $500 to some guy.
Oh, God.
It's like, here's a $50 drive shaft, just tack a 0 on the end.
Yeah, I got to build
Supply
drive
and demand.
shafts right
Yeah.
now, and I'm like looking at drive shaft parts. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, $500 for a kit just to
Yeah.
do the rear.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, can I just find some?
How long is it going to have to be?
I'm gonna have to cut it all up and make it custom, anyways. But if I can just get the slip section
Yeah.
and in the yoke,
I don't know if you guys have ever used Adams before, but like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we have
yeah.
in the Rubicon.
Okay, yeah, like they build the custom drive shafts, and they're very affordable for custom drive shafts.
for sure. I was looking at the Wide Open Designs 1410 kit
Yeah.
for the back, and then the front's got to be like this crazy 2-piece drive shaft.
Yeah.
So it's literally going to be like just a slip section between the Atlas and the carrier bearing.
Yep.
So no real shaft welded.
Yeah, I
in.
mean, in theory, that shouldn't move, so you should be fine.
In theory,
until it breaks, but it's
Hey, if it breaks, then you fix it and you learned, right?
yeah. Hers doesn't have a slip section, and it's been fine. But
I mean, what's your wheelbase isn't that long.
I'm
I
at
think.
like 106, 107 now. We just like had to, when we flipped my housing, we had to adjust the links. So I was at like 108. So I'm still bigger than a TJ.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think people forget how short TJs are.
Yeah.
They're so
Incredibly short.
Yeah, when we were up at Sand Mines, I watched TJ go up this steep slab. I was like, I'm going to watch him go first because I know I've got like 2 inches on it.
I wheel a 2-door JK right now, so yeah, my wheels come off, my front
Yeah.
tires come off the ground all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was gonna say even the 2-door JKs. Everyone's like, oh, it's bigger. It's like an LJ, and it's actually still shorter than the LJ
Yeah,
by like
way
8
shorter.
inches.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we were going up Squealer.
They're just wider.
And Jesse Maston, it was his first time going up Squealer, and it was just like, it's like, dude, that was freaking crazy. Your front tires came off the ground like 2 times,
Yeah.
and Carter, my son's in the passenger seat, playing some game,
giggling.
didn't even know what's going on. It's like, hold on,
Yeah.
And I normally, when we get to the center, the big obstacle in that trail, I kind of veer to the right and beep-bop around it, but it just kept taking me right into, the belly of the beast,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah, you kind of have to stay on it going up Squealer. So, like, you're kind of at the mercy of the trail.
Where it's gonna throw you.
Yeah, because,
Yeah.
like, you don't really have a lot of time to think about your line because you just have
Got to
to
keep the momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I took this guy up he rode my buggy with me. He's been off-roading for like 25, 30 years, never rode in a buggy before. And like he was just in the passenger seat, arms crossed, just smiling.
Yeah, I feel like it's very different. I mean, I've only gone from a full-bodied Grand Cherokee to a YJ, and just the openness makes it so much easier to
Yeah.
drive and way
Visibility
more
is
enjoyable.
everything.
Yeah. I mean, that thing will be close to buggy-ish when it's done with the long arms and everything, but it's not going to be much YJ left.
Yeah.
But, yeah, as I said, we're probably getting close to the...
But yeah, I mean, thanks for coming out today, guys.
Yeah,
Really
thanks for having
appreciate
us. We enjoy it.
it. Anything you guys want to plug before
Yeah.
we get on out of here?
Yeah, I mean, I started She Crawls Off-Road Apparel. It's designed to inspire women to wheel. Check it out. We're about to partner with a really amazing foundation. All items are printed in batch right now. The next batch will ship out May 20th. But yeah, get on there, check it out. I also run Clutch Social Media Management. I focus on motorsports teams, off-road shops, anything related. I do website design and social media management. So check that out too if you're in need. Also check us out if you're into the RC crawler world. We machine custom links, 3D printed parts, shocks, in the Works RC. You can find us www.intheworksrc.com and on Instagram and Facebook.
Awesome.
Thanks.
YouTube yet?
I have not started my YouTube yet.
Yeah.
I'm
Even our son is telling us to start a YouTube.
Everyone's telling me to. I'm so intimidated by it, and I need to
You guys are
just
our
like
trial run.
just like
Yeah.
you said, Tim. Like all the stuff I'm posting on Instagram, just start posting that to YouTube too. And my friends Marlon and Luna with Off Road and Chill told me the same thing, and they're like, it will come. Like just start
Yeah.
somewhere. So, but yeah, I'm on YouTube at She Crawls. Instagram, She Crawls, TikTok, She Crawls, Facebook, She Crawls.
Yeah.
Go ahead and subscribe there and may or may not have some content coming.
Yeah.
It'll be a mystery for those
Yeah.
to discover.
I'm just here to wheel.
Get in on the ground level.
Yeah,
To be an
absolutely.
OG follower.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, thanks a lot,
You guys
guys.
know where to find us on all the socials at the Dirt Drive, Dirt Nerds Off Road.
Yep.
And we will see you next time.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Good one.
Are you enjoying this podcast? Do you want more ridiculousness from the Dirt Nerds? Check out dirtnerdsoffroad.com. It'll link to all of our social media, as well as our YouTube page, And you can pick up some sweet merch to help support the podcast and other adventures.